You gonna start us off?
Am I going to start us off,
You always
or are you
start
going to
us
start us off?
You always start us off.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Brad.
Are you loud enough right now? I don't know.
I'm Brad.
I'm Kritika.
She is. She didn't sound convinced of it, but I assure you, I've seen her birth certificate. She is. So here we are, coming to you live from our back porch.
Yeah, we love our back porch. It's in my egg chair. That's my favorite spot to be. One of my favorite spots to be.
So yeah, we have some news, I guess you would say.
I guess.
Minor, just a little thing.
Minor life event.
Spitch, just small.
We're having a baby! Yay! Look at me. Why are you making such noises?
What's
Great.
going on? Kritika is with child.
Can you stop?
There is a bun in the figurative oven. I guess it's a figurative bun in a figurative oven.
Yeah, I was like, why is the bun not figurative?
That's a good question. I think
The whole thing.
the whole thing. The bun's in the oven.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it.
So that's it.
Peace out. Catch you later. No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's great. It's awesome.
We're very excited.
Very excited.
Very thankful. Very grateful. Very blessed. And very excited. No matter how terrified Brad looks, as everyone talks about.
I don't understand it. I think I look excited. That's my excited
I mean,
face.
I know, yeah. I know you look excited, but everyone's like, what's happening? Yeah, so we're pregnant. Brad just had a food baby all the time, but
Shawarma. Chicken shawarma.
We are due in late summer, early fall. So
That range.
that range. And what kind of dad are you going to be, Brad? You going to be
The cool kind.
the cool kind?
I'm going to be the cool kind and the genuinely funny kind. Everybody's going to think I'm hilarious.
Uh-huh.
Especially her.
Yay. Cool. So, we thought it would be...
Finley's trying to eat the microphone. No.
He's trying to eat the dead cat.
Sit.
Okay, bye. Okay, so...
Finley does not want us to record this video.
For all the lingo. Can we get through this video?
I don't think we can.
I think he wants to just sit with you. Okay, thank you, babe.
We're joined, I can't talk. We're joined today by a special guest, Finley, but he's just off camera. His butt's right here. It's his butt.
You can
There's
wave
a
his tail.
Leave my tail alone, Brad. Nice, Finley. Nice. We're over here trying to record a video, and
Let's talk first about our TTC journey, or trying to conceive.
TTC.
You
First
learned
time
so
I've heard that.
Yeah, not right now. Not first time.
This is the first time I've heard TTC used.
Really?
Yes.
I sent you a whole list of like acronyms
Well,
that
was
you would
a
hear.
long list of acronyms.
Anyways, yeah. So we've been on the TTC journey for a while. We always knew this is where we wanted to be and plan our family, and but also take some time for ourselves, which we did during the pandemic, but also after we got married a little bit. And then, yeah, we started trying. And then one of my really good friends recommended just like, I don't know, learning a little bit more about my body and just like the journey. And There's obviously very many trackers that people can use, that you can use. iPhones have one, and so we used one. We used one that just actually measured ovulation for me, and then we're very intentional about that. Um, that was something that, Brad and I had a lot of conversations about. It's just, I don't know. It was just like crazy to me that I was 32 and not aware of all these things, and I felt very behind the curve on knowing a lot of things about the human body, the female body, and all of this other stuff that I feel like you don't get really taught or no one really talks about. So that was, I would say, a rude awakening, but also a lot of education happened.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot of education. It's just surprising how much stuff people don't talk about at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, period. Like, there's just the number of things that you don't know and that are not said and everything, and then all of a sudden you find out all this stuff is normal, and it's stuff that almost everybody goes through, and it's like, well, why doesn't anybody talk about it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so this is also why this is our attempt at talking about it. The other thing I did want to talk about, mostly because, I'd heard about it. I've had and known people who have gone through it, but didn't realize or understand or know how common it was. But we did miscarry the first time that I got pregnant. Again, it's not until you go through it, unfortunately, that you realize that it's almost like a rite of passage, which I hate how it's become. But like, literally, the more women I talk to, it's like the more like the sisterhood increases almost, of how many people have gone through miscarriages, and then just not just miscarriages, but just pregnancy difficulties, or just difficulties around this whole topic. And again, I would lump that in with things that don't get talked about.
You don't realize how common it actually is. You think, at least I thought that it was something that did happen, but it was a little bit more rare, I thought. Mm-hmm. And it just shows how little I actually knew. And come to find out, like she said, it seems like it's a very common thing that happens to many, if not most, mm-hmm. women. Sometimes they may not even realize that it has happened if it's very early on, and but that it happens quite a bit. So that's something that I think we want to talk about more later on, and kind of use some more time just to focus on that topic and what that was like, because it's something that doesn't get talked about, and it's something that was tough. It's tough for us. It's even tougher for some other people, depending on the situation and the scenario. So it's an important topic, and one that we don't want to gloss over.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we definitely, I think, are going to talk about it a little bit more, but we did want to mention it here, because it is, it was part of our trying to conceive journey. This whole theory about basal body temperature and everything else, at least for like this time, I started monitoring it, and I was just like, I don't understand any of this. It's up and down. I don't know. And half the time you'd forget. So you're supposed to take it as soon as you wake up in the morning, not even like move, get out of bed. So like I put it right by my phone, put the temperature, the thermometer right by my phone, and would take it. And the really one clue that I had for us, there was from what I saw examples, a classic implantation dip. So that was my encouragement, and then I just had to wait, and then we waited, and I told Brad,
and we marked time off on the calendar to know when the optimal times were.
Yeah. You should talk about that part.
Based on all of the data that was being tracked and the science and all that. It's really cool what they have available now. And again, it's not something that people really talk about until you're in it, and then you find all this stuff. Fun fact, though, about the thermometer she's talking about, after everything was successful, and the bun was in the oven, metaphorically. We were doing laundry, and she had been washing the sheets for the bed, and I went to take them out of the washer and put them in the dryer, and lodged in like the seal of the washing machine, the rubber seal. I saw something sticking out. I was like, "What is that?" Pulled out. It was that thermometer. She'd actually been keeping it sometimes under her pillow, and had forgotten it was there, and just grabbed all the sheets, and it was in there, and so it was full of water and ceased functioning. But it did its job.
It did its job.
Yep. And then it was buried at sea, aka the washing machine.
Yeah, it was worth the $30-$40 it was for me, at least. So, but yeah, no, I agree with the amount of data and everything else. I think that was also very eye-opening for that. We were just tracking using ovulation strips, which, again, over-the-counter available. Even if, I don't know, they're marketed as trying to conceive kits, but I think they offered a lot more, like, just, for me, they offered a lot more insight into my body as well, because I also noted symptoms around that time outside of just the strips, which was helpful as well.
Yeah, it was really cool. And that's, of course, not everybody wants to know all the details, right? Some people are just, they're trying, but it's just kind of like when it happens sort of deal. They want to be surprised by it. They're not like actively like, okay, this is the time frame that's most optimal.
Yeah.
And for some people that can be a little cold or clinical or whatever the case may be. But we wanted to know all that stuff. We wanted to learn about that, and also, to be able to maximize the opportunities and the time and everything, because it was something that we were wanting to do. So it was cool that the strips are out there, and the app that she's using is out there, the app was
Pre-mom.
I
was like,
she was using that with the strips, and you can get the strips from Amazon or from wherever. And
yeah, you can get it like Walmart and Target too, Amazon.
And it was really super useful to be able to do that, and then to block off time on the calendar to be able to track things in the app, and to see what to expect and what might be a good time.
Yeah. No, and
for hullabaloo.
Really, are you going to put hullabaloo out there in the world? We can't ever use that if we.
Your gift, world.
Anyways, but yes, I appreciated that you said it was like, for some it can be more like clinical, and a lot more information and not natural. But I think, we were pretty open about having that conversation about, not making it seem forced, but also, I don't know, like taking advantage of the information that we knew.
Yeah.
And being on the same page about really, like, giving it our best shot.
But in the oven.
Oh, we're mature. Anyways.
Super duper.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that. Obviously it didn't happen in the first cycle. Took us a few, which was, again, everything's going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Everything's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, but also something, I guess, important to note, too, is that you had an IUD.
I did, yeah.
And had it removed, and then sometimes it can take some time for everything to
regulate,
basically.
Reboot. I was going to say regulate, but reboot, I guess is a good word.
The system had to reboot, reinstall the OS, and get everything ready, and then any updates that had come along in the past little while.
Okay. Too much.
You get it, though.
No, yeah, it's funny. Yeah. So, yeah, it took us a few cycles, but I think, it really just the information and the awareness got better with each cycle, I would say, and just like the trying part of it. But yeah, I saw the dip. It happens 7 to 8 days after. So I was just hoping that was it. Could have been a lot of things, but I was just like, I remember taking a picture of it, and I was like, if this is it, we're going to use this as, I'm going to send this into the app to use as an example because it's a classic dip.
Classic dip.
And anyways, I guess I should explain what an implantation
Just
dip
like
is.
a nice cream cheese and artichoke.
Oh my god.
Classic
Ew.
dip.
Those in this context
Spinach and
just like just don't
chili
mix
cheese.
those. Anyways,
Classic
an implantation dip.
buffalo chicken.
Can you stop?
Classic dip.
Can you stop him? He's gnawing on his foot.
Guacamole. Classic dip.
Okay. Anyways,
Queso.
an implantation dip
Classic
is
dip.
when you're taking your basal body temperature and it dips ever so slightly and then comes right back up. And that's really your regulation between your various hormones. Again, I'm not an OB. I don't claim to be a physician, but just knowing the cycles of each hormone. I mean, I got taught that in school for pharmacy school, and just like, just knowing when to use like what birth control medications and stuff like that. But just actually, I don't know, just putting that in, it was just a concept, and then putting that in and seeing that on the graph for my own values was a lot more educational. I felt so, but yeah, and took the test. I kind of felt that I was, and I just waited until I was a few days late on my period, and then took the test, and I told you the next day. So you want to tell them how I told you?
Yes. So, we were going to be watching No Time to Die, the latest James Bond movie. The first James Bond movie since GoldenEye that I have not seen in a theater because of COVID. That's very low on the list of things that are important because of COVID, but I was very disappointed that I wasn't able to go. We actually started the movie.
Yeah.
We started the movie. We're sitting there. I usually have my bottle of water, wherever I go. I had left it in the kitchen. I had not brought it. I was excited to watch the movie. So sat down and we just started watching the movie.
I think you were drinking, like, you were having a drink as well, so that's why you weren't missing your water. Like, I think he was having, I think he was having a drink.
Possible. Likely. But I didn't have my bottle of water. And so at one point during the movie, she had gone to the kitchen.
Before the movie started.
Oh, before the movie started. Okay. See, I didn't know. Before the movie started, she had gone in and she had ordered a pair, I think, of like handmade.
Mm-hmm. Hand crocheted
Clemson booties for just as a way of telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And she had set them next to my water bottle, thinking that I would pick up my water bottle. Well, I didn't pick up my water bottle, and I just came in and was watching the movie. And then at one point after we had started the movie, she's like, "Hey, don't you want your water?" And I was like, "Well, I guess." And so I just walked to the kitchen and I grabbed my water watching the movie and just reached over, grabbed it, and came over and sat down. What did you say?
No, you walked back because you noticed something out
of the corner of my eye. I saw that there was something there, so I turned back around and I saw them there on the counter. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that's how I told him this time. I think the first time, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but because I was wanting to be a lot more sure, I didn't tell Brad until quite a few days later, because of just me wanting to make sure, and then me wanting to make it perfect for him and stuff like that. And then once he did, he had very little time to just actually enjoy it. So this time I had decided that, I was going to tell him as soon as I knew, because I wanted him to be able to just know, and whatever happened, enjoy the time that we both knew with that. So I told him the very next day about that. Yep. So yeah, so that's that.
That, as they say, is that.
Get that camera out of my face, Brad. I'm trying to sleep.